Silas Devon was trouble, the quintessential bad boy with the attitude to match. Tall, muscular, brooding, the type most women couldn't help drooling over. But not me. I was here on business, the life and death kind. And Silas Devon was my only hope. Clutching the file I'd found only 4 days ago, I sucked in a breath and steeled myself. It was now or never. Scarlett. At the sound of my name, I jerked my head up and let out a tiny, startled gasp. My ex-boyfriend Devon Michelson loomed over the table with 2 beers in his hands. An all-too-familiar bolt of excitement shot through me, followed quickly by a large dose of ice-cold reality. No, he couldn't be here in this tiny little bayou town. Not now. He was from my past, a past I'd buried years ago, one that had to stay that way, for all our sakes. My throat went dry and my mouth worked before I was finally able to force out, "Devon?" "I go by Smoke now." He placed the beer on the table, his dark gray eyes drinking me in, searing me with their intensity. A whisper of that long-suppressed craving he'd always managed to ignite filtered through me, and I felt my Wolfe scratch at the surface. No, this couldn't happen. Not now. Not ever again. I tore my gaze from him and met Silas's curious stare. I cleared my throat. Silas, this is Smoke, my ex said. And Silas and I already know each other. You do? I glanced between the two of them, unease making my shoulders tense. Shit. Now what? I'd made the trip to Southeast Louisiana from Nashville because I needed help, not so I could be dragged back into a life full of shady dealings and questionable contacts. There was a reason I'd left Devon 5 years ago and hadn't looked back. Before either could answer, I stood. I shouldn't have come here. I'm sorry to waste your time, Mr. Devon, but I think I'd better be going. With my heart hammering, I clutched the file tight to my chest, blinked back tears of frustration, and headed straight for the door. Wait. A large hand caught my wrist, stopping me. A hand I knew almost as well as my own. Let me go, Devon, I said without looking at him. Not until I get answers. His grip on my wrist was light, but there was no mistaking the demand in his tone. I slowly turned toward him and stared at his hand still holding me in place. Is this what you want? To force me to stay here and talk to you? It was a shitty thing to say, but I had to get out of there. Had to leave before I threw myself in his arms and never left. He released me and let out a small, frustrated sigh. No, Scarlett. Damn it, that's not at all what I want. But considering our history, don't you think you at least owe me a conversation? Pain and anger mixed in his tone, and I closed my eyes as if that would help me shove my guilt aside. There's nothing to say. The hell there isn't. We stood in the middle of the bayou bar, chatter and music filling the dead air between us. My chest tightened, and although the urge to flee was right there at the surface, my feet felt cemented to the wood floor. It had taken every ounce of strength I had to leave him that summer, and now that he was standing in front of me, it was as if no time had passed. He was the same, tattooed, intense, and full of so much passion he took my breath away. Devon, It's Smoke, he barked, anger flashing through his haunted eyes. Sorry, I mumbled and reached out to touch his hand, but stopped suddenly and forced my arm to my side. His gaze tracked my movement, and heat crawled up my neck. What was I doing? Fuck. Frowning, he ran a hand through his already mussed hair. Excuse me, Silas said, coming up behind Devon. Sorry to interrupt this, interesting reunion, but we still have business to discuss. I shook my head and opened my mouth to protest again, but Silas cut me off. Enough. Bax sent you to me for a reason. I'd be dishonoring my word to him if I let you go now. He jerked his head toward the back of the bar. Let's take this somewhere more private. Eyeing Devon, he added, If you have time, I'd like you to sit in on this meeting.